according to the cloud. And we're going to put that over there. And we have one more thing. Don't we have one more thing? Okay, you should see two things on the screen, correct?
Rabbi Michalowicz.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to send me the email of the macros page?
Yeah, I did. You know, you sent me the email. Ariel, you sent me the email. Do me a favor, send it again, because I tried to get it. I wasn't able to get it. So send it again, and I'll try to do it. I'm really busy. I'm trying to get everything in over here. So I don't want this one. Let's get this one out of here. That's too much of this. Let's just take preview, open with. Open with preview. Okay, so we've got one screen here and one screen here. You should see two things here, right? You see the picture with the blood and you see the questions here, correct? No?
We only see the pictures with the blood, not the questions.
Okay, so then let's try one more thing. Let's stop the share. Why is this not letting me do this? Stop the share. Let's share it again. Let's share the desktop this time. Okay, now you should have both, correct? You should have the blood here and Parshas Va'era here. Perfect. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the blood and we explained why Hashem punished the Egyptians with the first makkah of blood. We said just like a king who lays siege to a city, the general first destroys their water supply. So Hashem did the same thing. He turned all the water in Egypt to blood. And we explained what the measure for measure was, that they threw babies into the water and that they bathed in the baby's blood. So that was why Hashem did all that. So that's the first point. Now we're going to, and now of course, what happened? When they had the blood, and we explained just the blood, so do you think Paro, now, by the way, let me just remind you, he came to Paro and he warned him. He gave him a warning. He says, you better take the Jews, let them out. If you don't let them out, you're going to get punished. And Paro says, I don't care. You can't do anything to me. And then all of a sudden, everything was blood. So he got a warning, and it was blood like that for 7 days. Now you figure that would be enough for Paro to say, okay, I was a bad guy and you proved that you're right. But you got to know, Egypt is a place filled with magicians, filled with people who know sorcery and people who know how to do all kinds of crazy things too. So the Egyptian said, you think that's a big deal that you turned everything into blood? Paro says, my magicians can do the same thing. And the magicians took a little glass of water and they turned it into blood. Now, of course, they didn't do it to the proportion that Hashem did it. Hashem wasn't just one little glass of water turned into blood. Hashem made the whole country into blood. And none of the sorcerers could do that. But you know, once you could do a little bit, you think you're just as good as God. So Paro didn't change his mind at all. Didn't change his mind at all. Now remember, we told you that who was the one who took the stick and hit it onto the water? Yes, Atlas kids?
Aaron.
Paro? Aaron. You said Aaron, right? I can't hear so well. Oh, by the way, did the Atlas kids get their Shabbos treat? You got it. I think somebody else, the Michalowicz, has got the Shabbos sheet. I still haven't put it out in front of the house, but so maybe tomorrow you can go and get your Shabbos treats. Okay. Anyway, so now Aaron took the stick, hit it on the water, and then it turned into blood. Now I don't understand. Who's the leader? Is Aaron the leader? No, Moshe's the leader. So why is it that Moshe was not the one who hit it with the stick? Yes, Ariella.
Because the water saved him when Yocheved put him in the basket, so he wouldn't be like the dream wouldn't throw him in the water. So that's why he didn't want to hurt the water.
Okay, very good. That's a good answer. I'm just going to explain it a little better, but that was a very good answer. You know, there's a concept in Judaism, in Yiddishkeit. It's called Hakoras Hatov or Hakarat Hatov. Hakarat Hatov means gratitude. Gratitude means if somebody does you a favor, you realize that the only nice thing you should do is to treat the person nicely. For example, let's say you're in school and you ask your friend to share some of their candy with you. So your friend shares the candy with you. That's a nice guy. Next day, you ask him to share the candy with you, and he shares the candy with you. That's a nice guy. The third day, you go to your friend and say, you know, I don't have any candy today. Maybe you could share with me today. And the guy says, who are you? What do you mean, who are you? I'm the guy who's been sharing candy with you for the last 2 days. The guy says, get out of here. I don't want to know from you. What are you talking about? Well, I don't even know who you are. Well, that would be a really not nice person, right? Because gratitude means if somebody did you a favor, you remember that and you're going to be nice to them. You're not going to be mean to them. Very important to have gratitude. You know, who do you think we have to have the most gratitude for in the entire world? Who's the one we have to have all the gratitude? Eitan.
Hashem.
Hashem. How come?
Because he made us, in the world, he made us. He did the biggest favors for us.
That's right. He does everything for us. He brought us into the world. He has air for us to breathe. That's free of charge. Hashem doesn't charge us any money for the air. There's lots of food, lots of good stuff in this world. Hashem, it's all there. It's all he gives it. So if Hashem, says maybe I hope I see some of you eating lunch. It's a good thing to eat lunch. I said it's okay because your mom is tzaddikim. You're learning with me in between your classes, so you really want to learn more Torah. So I'm sure before some of you took some food in your mouth, you made a bracha, right? Why do we make a bracha? To show that we have gratitude to Hashem. That's what it's all about. Say, Hashem, thank you. I'm saying thank you. I know it comes from you. Very important. You know what happens? You know what's the danger if a person doesn't have gratitude to a regular person? They're not going to have gratitude to Hashem. If you don't say thank you to other people, then you get used to saying, I don't have to thank Hashem either. Remember, what did Paro say? I don't know who Hashem is. I don't know who Hashem is. Yeah, but Moshe is saying, wait a minute. Do you think there's anything that Paro should have had gratitude for towards the Jewish people? Do you have any idea? Anybody going to praise their head? Do you think maybe there's a little reason why Paro should have gratitude to the Jews? Yes, Ellie, is your hand up? Yes, no? If it is, unmute. Yes, no? No? Okay, I guess you weren't raising your hand. Okay, Ariella, what should Paro have gratitude for to the Jews?
Because the Jews were working for Paro.
Even better than that. It's a better answer. That's true, but even a better answer. Eitan?
Because Yosef, he gave Parai, he told Parai what his dreams meant, and he was a Jew. So he didn't give anything back to him, so he should have gratitude for him.
That's right. It was all Yosef who made Egypt the most powerful country in the world when they saved all the grain and the rest of the world didn't have any grain. He made Egypt the world power. And all the Jews came down and it helped them. So you figure Paro would have a little gratitude to the Jews. Moshe could say, Moshe only asked them in the beginning. He didn't say that he has to let the Jews go free. He said, we wanted a 3-day vacation. Give us a long weekend to go to Har Sinai and daven to Hashem and come back. Paro has no gratitude to us. So Paro is the worst when it comes to no gratitude. Moshe is the best when it comes to gratitude. Now let's think one more step. You were saying he couldn't hit the water. You know why? Because the water saved him, right? The water saved him. He was put into the water and he didn't sink, he didn't drown, and the water saved him. But let me ask you a question. So you have to have gratitude to water, but water has no feelings. Does water have feelings? Does water cry? Let's imagine if Moshe would have taken a stick, okay, and he goes to the water and he hits the water. What would the water go? Moshe help me. Moshe, he doesn't have any gratitude to me. He saved his life and now he No. Water doesn't have any feelings. So what's this idea of having gratitude? So listen to a very deep idea that you have to be really smart to let this idea get into your head. Got to listen well. Gratitude. You think if somebody shared recess with you, then you got to share back with him or he'll feel bad. People think gratitude is towards the person you're saying thank you to. That's not true at all. The reason you have gratitude is not because of the person you're saying thank you to, but it's for you to feel the thank you. For you to feel that somebody did me a favor, regardless if you're going to give somebody something or not, you got to feel, I got a favor from somebody or something. So even if the water has no feelings, the water may not have any feelings, but I have to have feelings for the water. I have to have feelings and say, the water saved my life. And of course, the water's not going to cry if I hit it, but it's very not appropriate that the water that saved your life, you go and hit it. So that shows it, because if you have to show gratitude to every single thing in the world, every single thing in the world, not just people. So Moshe had gratitude. Paro did not have gratitude, so he could not hit the water. Okay, so 7 days of blood, it doesn't bother Paro much. He has lots of money. He told his servants to do what he had to do. Oh yeah, but there's one other thing I forgot about the blood. Remember I told you when they were drinking the water together, a Jew and an Egyptian were drinking the water together, and the Jew had water and the non-Jew had blood. Why did Hashem make it that way? And now comes the deepest reason of all. And this, you're going to really be smart today. This is an answer that nobody knows. Let me tell you something. When you do something, let's say you're in your house, you're not in front of your teacher, you're not in front of your parents. Let's say you put your hand down, sweetie, for a minute. Just listen, and then I'll listen to your hand. Then I'll listen to your answer. Let's say you're home in your bedroom all by yourself. And the Yetzer Hara comes to you. And the Yetzer Hara says, I want you to do an Avera right now. And you're saying, why? Well, he makes an Avera that's like really a juicy one you might like doing. Maybe steal something from somebody or whatever, And you figure, well, I don't want to do that. Maybe somebody will see me. Yetzer says, nobody's going to see you. There's nobody in the room. Just go and do it. Do it before somebody comes in the room. Now, of course, you're smart. You're going to say, wait a minute. Hashem's in the room. So what's the Yetzer Hara going to say to trick you? And mean, how can he trick you now? You're right. You're smart. You said the Hashem's in the room. Hashem is everywhere. So nobody's going to see me. Big deal. But Hashem's here. I can't do an affair if Hashem is over here. So you know what the Yetzer Hara says? You know what that tricky Yetzer Hara says? And it tricks so many people. I hope it doesn't trick you. This is what he says. You know, you're just a kid. You're just 7 years old. You're 8 years old. You don't go to work. You don't make money. If you're a boy, you don't even count in a minyan. You're just a kid. You know what? Hashem's not interested in you. You know who Hashem's interested in? Ooh, the big people, the important people. Hashem's interested in the rabbi. Hashem's interested in your parents. Hashem's interested in a millionaire. Hashem is interested in the strong people. You know, Hashem's a very busy God. He doesn't have time to waste on you little kids. That's what the Yetzer Hara says. Imagine, have you ever been in a place where there's a lot of people? Ever been in a place where there's thousands of people? And then you feel like nobody knows you're there. Nobody knows you're there. So they say, you know what? Hashem's a big God, but he only is interested in important things. In really important things. And I'm a little kid. I don't make any money. I don't go to work. I can't build things. I'm not a big Talmud Chacham. I'm not a big scholar. So Hashem's not interested in me. Maybe one day I'll be important if he interested in me. So then the Yetzer says, see, Hashem's not interested in you. So, you know, he's not looking. So do it now, fast, before you grow up and he starts looking. Now, I know many boys and girls who have been trapped by that very Yetzer Hara. You know, let's say you and your kid brother or kid sister is alone and your mommy or tati is busy and they don't see what's going on. And let's say your mommy gave you a candy and your little sister a candy. And you know what you do? And nobody's looking. You went and take your sister's candy too. And the little sister starts crying. Your mommy comes in the room and says, oh, why is your little sister crying? And you know what you say? I don't know. Huh, you don't know. Huh. You're the reason the baby's crying. So why did the Yetzer Hara trick you? How did he trick you? Because nobody knows. And you're not important. You're just a little kid and you're not important. That's what the Yetzer Hara does. And I know many, many children that have been tricked by that Yetzer Hara. So how do we not get tricked by the Yetzer Hara? You know what we do? We learn Torah and we learn this Parsha and we learn all about the blood. And you know what we learn? That when the Jews were in Egypt and the Jews were slaves, you know what it means to be a slave? The boss thinks you're nobody. You're a nothing. He hits you. He beats you. He doesn't treat you with respect. And you know what the Jews were, chas v'sholem, beginning to think? You know, they've been davening to Hashem for a long time to save them, and Hashem was not saving them. So what do you think the Jews were beginning to think? That they're not important enough for Hashem to notice them. Maybe Hashem doesn't care about them. Little old me in the middle of the slime pits of Egypt. They're not interested in Hashem's not interested in me. So Hashem says the first step for your geula, for your redemption, is to know that every single person is important to me. Everybody. Even if the Egyptian says you're worthless, even the Egyptian beats you up and kills your babies and says you're not worth anything, you should know Hashem says every single one of you is worth it. And I'm keeping a special eye on every single one of you. Now, how does Hashem show them that? You know what it is? When the Jew decides to drink a glass of water. Now, how important could it be to drink a glass of water, for goodness sake? That's not so important. But when the Egyptian grabs the water away from him and says, give me that water, give me the water. He says, it's my water, it's my water. Okay, he says, we'll drink it together. And when you're drinking water together, you, the nice little Jewish boy, and the other bad Egyptian man, you're drinking at the same time. And for you, it's water. And for him, it's blood. Do you know what you now know? That Hashem is watching every single thing you do, and he's taking care of you. You know why? Because you're important in his eyes. Did you hear that lesson, Matana? Did you understand the lesson? That even when you're just drinking water, you're not davening, you're not doing anything special. And the Egyptian says you're a slave, you're not important. Hashem says, you're so important to me in the middle of Egypt here while you're just drinking some water. I'm keeping a good eye on you. And when the Egyptian's drinking the water, it's blood for him, but water for you. And then the Jew realizes for the first time in his life, he says, you know, I am important. Hashem is looking at me. Hashem cares about every little thing that happens to me, and he wants to protect me all the time. Once a Jew knows that, then when the Yetzer comes and says, hey, you're alone, you could do an Avera now. Nobody's going to know. You're going to say, no, sorry. Don't fool me. Don't you fool me. I know all that. I learned today about the dam. I learned about the blood. And I learned that Hashem watches me so much because he cares about me, that he makes sure that I'm drinking water while the Egyptian is drinking blood. And I'm not going to listen to you. And that's when you become a free person, because you know who your biggest master is, and you're the biggest slave too. Not to Paro, to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara gets us to do things we shouldn't do. Gets us to hit our sister and brother. Gets us to not listen to our parents. Gets us to do all kinds of not nice things. Because we think, well, just a kid, doesn't matter. I'm not important. Hashem is telling you, even the little boys in Egypt, even the 6-year-old boys in Egypt, when they were drinking water and the Egyptian was drinking, for the Egyptian it was blood, and for the Jew it was water. So that's what they learned by blood. Okay, anybody got any questions? Now I have a chance to take a breather. Is there anything you don't understand? You want to ask something? I'm looking, I don't see any questions. So we're moving on. So Paro did not listen. So now Moshe comes a second time and says, listen, if you're not going to let the Jews go, what's going to happen? Froggies. Froggy do. The frogs are going to come. And Paro says, frogs? Frogs? What does that mean? What does that mean, frogs? Who cares about little frogs? You're going to care about frogs. What does a frog do? A nice little frog goes, ribbit, 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 ribbit. Ups along. What do I care about little frogs? He says, if you don't let the Jewish people out, your place is going to be filled with frogs. Oh God, what do I care? I'm not letting the Jews go. Okay, I warned you. So who goes? Moshe and Aaron goes, and who's the one who's going to hit the Nile again? It's going to be Moshe, or is it going to be Aaron? Let's see now. Okay, Rivka, who's going to hit the water? Who's going to hit the Nile, Rivka? Unmute.
Aaron.
Aaron, again, same reason, because the water saved his life. And sure enough, he hits the Nile, and everybody's watching, and one frog comes out. So Paro says, this is the whole thing? One frog comes out? You think I'm worried about that? Here, I'll tell my guard. The guard comes, takes his big sword, hits the frog, kills the frog, and then what happened? Boom! The frog turned into 2 frogs, and they're both alive. Says, what? What kind of trick is this? 2 living frogs? I just killed the frog. Huh, I must be dreaming. So he takes the knife again and hits both frogs. And then what happens? Both frogs, they double into 4 frogs. He says, 4 frogs? Oh, I'm getting angry now. Whack, 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 whack. He hits all 4 frogs, they double, they become 8 frogs. What? 8 frogs? He hits all 8 frogs. Whack, 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 whack. They double again. 16 frogs, 32 frogs, 64 frogs, 100. He keeps whacking, keep doubling, keep whacking, keep doubling, keep whacking, keep doubling all over it. Till there's hundreds of thousands of frogs. I mean, you hear one frog goes, ribbit. That's not so bad. When you hear 1,000,000 frogs, oh, that noise. And it wasn't just a noise. The frogs got into every place. Every place. I mean, every place. You were baking, it was an Egyptian lady baking a cake. And they took the cake out of the oven. And then before they could cut the cake, a frog flew out of the cake and messed up all the cake. And then a person, wants to take a shower. And you figure you're alone in the shower. All of a sudden, the frog jumps all over you in the shower. And then the worst part, the frog jumps in your mouth. And he goes all the way into your belly, alive, going, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And how are you going to sleep at night? Your own stomach is going, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Ugh, disgusting. Everybody's stomach, they're all going, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And then and whenever they want to have any food, the frog's going all over the place. The frog, some of you girls have very nice long hair. Huh? You wouldn't like it so much when the frog goes into your hair and ribbiting through your hair. And, he even would go into your clothing. And you know how ticklish it would be. Imagine if there's a frog inside your shirt, ribbiting away through your shirt. I can't. 7 days of ribbiting. Whoa. And Parshas says, this is not good. I don't like this. Stop this froggy business. It's interesting. His sorcerers could also make a little frog, like maybe 1 or 2 little frogs. But they couldn't make 1,000,000 frogs. They couldn't make a frog that you kill it and jumps into 2. Says, get this. So Moshe says, when do you want me to get rid of it? Tomorrow. Moshe says, no problem. You're going to let the Jewish people go? I don't know, but just get rid of the frogs. And the next day, boom, he gets rid of the frogs. They're gone. Oh, why did Hashem send frogs? So remember, we talk about just like a general comes, first they cut the water supply. What's the next thing they do? Look, the general sounds trumpets and horns to panic the defenders. You make a lot of noise. People are getting scared. Oh no, they're coming. So the frogs were croaking. The air was filled with croaky. And they were all getting afraid and they were scared. And why was this a punishment? Measure for measure? Because when they threw the babies in the river, it made the mommies cry. And the mommies were crying. So now Hashem makes the frogs screaming. You know what else the Egyptians do? The Egyptians were such terrible masters. They made the Jews catch animals that were making a lot of noise. And also the Egyptians would wake the Jews up in the middle of the night making noise so they couldn't sleep. So they bothered the Jewish people's sleep. So Hashem bothers their sleep. This is what Hashem is showing, measure for measure. And when the fish, when the water had blood and the fish died, well, when the fish died, and the frogs can multiply. So when one thing happens, it leads to the other. All the fish died. It was stinking after blood. And now the frogs love stinky juice. And they just jump all over the place. And there were all the frogs making them nuts until Moshe wants to leave. Anyway, I'd love to stay longer, but I have an important appointment today only at 12:40. So I got to leave right now. Can all unmute and say thank you and goodbye, and we'll continue with more.
Thank you. Bye.
Send me emails.
Thank you.
Emails if you want to get some of the review questions.
Could you send me the
Okay, have a good night. I gotta run.